Welcome to a new episode of Project Cross. In this video we'll work on the K20 Peugeot 205 again, and in this video we'll be working on the suspension and custom axles. So let's get started.
What I've got here, suspension drive shaft assembly, but I'm going to take it apart because I'm going to use this bit with all the braking caliper points on it, but this is actually a Citroen suspension. And I have the 205 GTI suspension, what I'm going to install on this and run it at first as for testing, so I know how all the suspension sits with the new location of the subframe. So hopefully it's just this bolt and I can hammer it out, but I don't know if it's that easy. So let's go try that out. Brake bar. Easy. Things are absolutely brilliant. Working with old cars, have one of those.
So after a whole bunch of hammering and hating, strut is finally in place. But there's one issue. This bolt is so unbelievably tight, I actually have to mount the subframe and put the entire weight of the car on it with a wheel so I can get the nut off, both of them. So this is going to be really fun. So I'm going to do that right now. So after that hellish experience, that was total hell, but you know, as you can see, that's what I have to do to get the nuts off, because they were so unbelievably tight I couldn't get them off. So I had to cut them. But These are the axles. Look how close they are. This is the Citroen axle from a Xara VTS, and this is the Ep.6 Type R axle, and they are just so close in length. It's unbelievable. I'm going to check if I can make the axle fit without modification, but I don't think it's going to work because, as you can see, the splines here are probably a little bit different and it's way longer there. But I'm going to try anyway to see if it's going to work, or else I'm just going to grind it off here and grind it off here and just weld them together and to see if it's going to work, and then use that axle as a dummy, so the company that I'm going to choose yet is going to make a new axle for me, or both new axles actually. Yeah, just like I thought, it's not going to fit. So now I'm going to cut up those axles and make it fit.
If I knew this before, I would have done it differently.
Wow, check this out actually. I was just pointing at the fact that I cut these axles, and I figured out that the Honda actually fits inside of the Citroen axle, because I thought it was going to be way thicker, but it isn't. But actually I figured out the axle has to be so short it actually still fits in like that. So what I'm going to do is put it inside of here and yeah, mount it in. Man, this is going to be brilliant, and after that I'll maybe weld them together. Man, this is going to be good, easier than I thought. Well, easy. So that was quite easy, look at that. I've got the axle inside the big one, and yeah, it fits perfectly. And of course it's not welded yet, but I think I'm going to measure how thick of how much space is in there. I'm going to put another tube in it, so this will be perfectly centered, and then I'll weld it in. And then, or at first I'm going to tack it, of course, and then I'm going to check it out if the axle actually fits, because the axle, of course, when it completely, the suspension is at its lowest point, or highest, depends on how you look at it, the axle gets stretched, and when the suspension goes way up, so the car goes down, the axle shrinks. So it has to have all the space to move. So I'm going to put a jack under the suspension arm and jack it all the way up to see if the axle still has some room to play. After, of course, I'm going to tack it first. If that's all good, well, I'm going to weld the thing, and I have a good axle. Well, not a good axle for race use, but maybe actually just to do a drive around slow speeds, possibly. But I'm going to make new axles anyway, or get them made. So what I've got to get the axles as straight as possible, 4 of these. These will slide over the male axle. 2 of those, that will fit exactly in this one. That's a good system. That's what I'm going to do now, and install it in the car. So here are the 2 axles. Now I'm going to install them to check out how they fit. So this is the maximum it can compress. So, and this is how much it can move. I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to do it like this, and I'm going to weld it in. But I'm going to do some more tests, and hopefully the end result will be good. Check it out. I tacked the axle in place, so it's now one piece. Still a bit wobbly, but that's okay. But I believe this is the correct length. It's now at almost straight, and I put it up on the jack, and I can pull it towards it and pull it away from it and push it towards it, and there's enough play in there, so I think it's going to be alright. Even if I'm going to buy it even lower than this, just in case, I'm going to do this the same way with the coilover set that's on the way right now. So I'm not going to order the axles just yet, but it's going into the right direction. Really nice. Bam! Set of coilovers. People know the stuff. Know that the Ep sportswerk, well, Ep suspensions are not that expensive. Only cost me 388 euros, which is nice. This is how they look like. I'm going to open the box right now, and this is what I'm going to be using probably for the first 2 seasons, because I'm spending money on good brakes instead of suspension. Suspension will be later on.
The rear dampers, which are not adjustable, because this car has a torsion beam rear axle. You can adjust the ride height at the axle itself. And here they are, the beauties. AP suspension. This is good stuff. These things are probably the same ones my Tacomas used on the, what's the thing was called? The Golf. Street Squared Golf. I think these were the same ones, except these ones for Peugeot. 2 of them. They do not come with top hats, of course, or top mounts. You have to use them for your car. These ones I have are pretty shit, but I'll use them anyway. I'll buy new ones later on. So, let's install them.
So now I've got these coilovers. First thing I'm going to do is remove the springs and then install it in the car. Of course I have to remove the struts first, the old ones. Then I'm going to put top hats on and I put it on finger tight, because I'm not going to use springs, because then it will be easier to test the height. And that's what I'm going to do now. Luckily the both struts and coilers have Allen keys on top of it. It makes removing them quite easier. So this is the top mount, which looks like total shit, but I will replace it in the future. But for now, it'll do the job. Maybe gonna wire brush them down, but other than that, this is the stuff. So what I've got here is the second axle. This is the one from the driver's side, and as you can see, I put the paint off with all the grit off, degreased it with some of this stuff, so it's okay. And now I'm going to put it in the car, and let's see what length it should be. So this is the drive side axle in place. I think I got it. I'm now going to tack weld it. Now I'm going to tack weld it. So I've got both axles in place, tack welded in. This one's all actually fine. This one is also fine. This is the correct length. So what I'm going to do now, take them off the car and then completely weld them. Not that I'm going to use them, but maybe if it takes very long to actually make a custom axle, I'm going to do myself, of course, but then let some axle to move the car around a bit. So that's pretty easy. So let's weld them up, and yeah. So I've got the two axles welded, and now I'm going to measure them up, well, I'm going to measure them up and actually send them off to a company that can replicate them and then make real axles that I'm going to use. These axles will only be used for, no, maybe some driving around. For testing usually. It's a mock-up axle, so yeah. And with that, this is the end of this episode. I'm going to maybe reinstall them. You don't need to see that, like plenty of times. And hopefully, see you guys on the next one. Yeah, and I've got these coilovers. First thing I'm going to do is remove the springs of this coilover in particular, because it's only for testing height and everything that I'm going to put it on. When I'm going to install it.
So thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. And talking about more, you can click on one of these two videos to see some more from the channel. And yeah, hope to see you next time. Later.